What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Wash, and tonight we are going to talk about how to quote and how to quote online, and some things of how you can quote, how other people, how maybe some suggestions how you quote. And so that is going to be my goal for tonight, is to help you grow your business by quoting, because I think this can be one of the biggest thing of reason why people fail is they don't know how to quote. And so if you have an address that you would like me to quote, put it in the comments and I will pick one of you, whoever gives me an address, and I will put it in here and I will go through the quoting process of how to do it online, how to do it quickly, and how to be able to just do it quickly, basically. And so that is what I wanted to hit on tonight, and that's what I'm going to work on tonight. And I'll show you some different ways of how you can do this and what you can do, and maybe, like I said, tips, tricks, and all of those good things that you can use for your business. And I will show you a couple different ways that you can do things. I'm going to go through the whole process so that way you can get high dollar tickets, right? So we can get high closing average tickets, because that is the goal of how do we get that $800 average ticket? How do I get that $1,000 average ticket? And I know some of you are maybe, how do I get that $500 average ticket? And it is something that you got to go for and do. And it is something that, you know, it is what you have to be able to grow your business so you can be successful. And so, again, if I see your address, I will pick it out and I will get you there for that. So, we got anonymous. Get more than 100 signs. Yep, we love signs. Signs are everywhere. How are you doing, Rick? My screen is like all messed up here for some reason, but we will get it fixed out here. Hello from Palm Coast, Florida. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I am planning to start my pressure washing business in mid-March. 100-yard signs and 1,000 6x9 postcards to start with, plus door knocking. I have a full-time job right now and wanting to go full in. And so that's a great start. And so that is definitely what you got to do. Your thoughts. I will give my thoughts a little later. Hey, brother, love your videos, helping soaking up like a sponge. What's up, Mr. Jeremy Olson? How are you doing? How are you doing, Jason? Hello from Perfect Power Wash, or Perfect Pressure in Mobile, Alabama. I know what I forgot to do today, too, is give my book of the week, and I will get that here shortly. And so I will do that here shortly. I actually got two books here. Oh, yeah, I'll just give that one here. But we will go from there. Palm Coast, Florida in the house. Actually, that's not the book I wanted to give you all. I will have to give it. I thought I had it undone here. I am hot mess today. How are you? We got an address. Sweet. So we got a couple addresses here, so we'll kind of go see which ones we got here. What's up, Miss Tricia? How are you doing? Quoting this right now for a metal house wash, roof cleaning, pool cage, pool deck, everything. John Hall here. Hello from Covington, Kentucky. Well, you're just right down the road from me. 1902 South Fletcher. I sent you a text about my website. Could you tell me what you think? Okay, I did see that come through. Hello from Missouri. Hey, Jason. Hey, what do you get to the training this week? Hey, what day do you get to the training this week? I will be there all week. I'm going to be there all week. Probably. I'm probably just going to show up every day. My days of training is Thursday and Friday will be the days that I will be there. So that's when I will be there this week. I'm going to be there all week because I want to learn more about. I personally want to win more, learn more about landscape lighting. That's why I'm going to be there all week. Responsibid for the win, Jason. Hello from West Virginia. And I agree 100%, but I'm having issues right now with their website. I don't know what their deal is. I couldn't even go to the login page. And that's very unusual for them. In the building, how are you? I am doing good. Jason from Clean and Bright Power Washing, getting excited for the new season. We got certification this winter, trying to separate ourselves from the competition. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. So better build your own kit or buying pressure washing. I mean, you're going to pay $20,000 to $30,000 if you buy it. Versus building it, you can be in around 5 to 10. Pool deck, waterfall, got a lot of junk in the pool. Any tips? I tried to go toward screen, but waterfall and live plants. All right, so the book that I am going to give you this week, and I did get it, and I don't know what I did with it. I've lost my book. Oh no, what am I going to do? I lost my book I wanted to give you. So the book I'm going to give you this week is the book that we are going through for the mentorship right now, and it is called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And this is a book that I told the group that I don't want you to just read it and be like, oh, those are some really good ideas, and I'm going to go from there, right? This is a book that I want you to read chapter by chapter and take something from that chapter and take action. I know a lot of times, and I'm a guilty culprit of this too, of we will read lots of books and we don't actually take action. And so in this book, I was pushing for we need to start taking action. And in this book, it is definitely a book that you can take action. So that was my goal, and it's called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. It is definitely a book that when you start reading it, some of the things in the very first chapters aren't going to be easy for you to take action on. Some of you have other things that you do that he hits on that isn't so much fun well, I don't want to do that. And that's why I'm telling you about this book of Choose Your Enemies Wisely. It is a very good book. I promise you, you will get a lot out of it. And so that is where we will be at. I really highly recommend you to read this book. If you don't like reading, I couldn't find it on free yet for on YouTube anywhere, but it isn't that expensive to do the audiobook. I think the paperback book was like $20. But I promise you that 2 McDonald's trips that you will salvage to go fill your brain with information will be way better than putting 2 Big Macs in there anyway. And so that is what I wanted to hit on for. I thought this was a different book, but this is actually Think and Grow Rich. Oh, I got like confetti coming off of it. Think and Grow Rich. This one is actually done by Russell Brunson. I did there, but he got the Laws of Success. He bought one of the originals Laws from Success. So we are going to pick this address right here. I don't know if I can copy these or not. Nope, I cannot copy that. So I got to type it in here. 3707 Turnberry. And I'm not going to do anything other than that drive. Maybe. Turnberry Drive, Gulf Shores, Alabama. All right, so before we get too far in here, I wanted to get that because otherwise I wouldn't have that. When we talk about should we quote in person, should we quote online, how should I quote, Jason? And so there's no perfect answer to this, right? Some people should quote in person because they're going to get a higher ticket sales and they're better salesmen. And some people shouldn't go quote because you suck at sales and you don't know how to read people, and you go out there and you go blah and you just spill your guts about this pressure washing and you shoot yourself in the foot. There's some people that can do very good online, that can be very good on the telephone, and there's some of you that suck that talk on the telephone. Now, don't take offense if I've hit on your feelings. I'm just telling you that some people can do really good and some people not so good, right? And so this is why I'm wanting to do this. And so this first few months out of the year, I talked about what insurances you need. I talked about how to quote other ways. I've talked about what chemicals, actually I haven't hit on chemicals yet, but what equipment do we need, how to hire people. And so this past Wednesday, if you didn't get that video, I talked about my story of how I started from being a homeschooler, being poor. I showed the house that I lived in all the way up to now. And so tonight I'm going to hit on how to quote online, not in person. I'll do that maybe next week when I will hit on how to do it in person. But tonight I want to show you, and I'm going to show you, I'm not just going to talk, I'm actually going to show you how to do it online quoting. But before we get there, we kind of got to back up a second. I suck on the phone, about 90% close rate in person. Don't have time to do them all in person. So, this is what's kind of funny right here, right? Because Benjamin Gregory has been in business. I think he started in 2015, 14, 15. I started in 2012. And so he was my competitor. He literally lives, like, as the crow flies, before he just moved, about 2 miles from me, 3 miles from me. And so he was a competitor of mine as I was growing my business, and Benjamin was growing his business right down the street from me. And so he obviously likes to do in-person quotes, and he probably did a lot more back then because he hadn't grown to over doing $1 million a year yet himself. And so he was doing in person and I did online. I did a lot of online. And so that's what I'm going to hit on. And so it's kind of ironic to see Benjamin on here because, like I said, he's literally my competitor. He was my competitor. His shop right now is within 5 minutes of me. He's about 5 minutes from the airport is where his shop is, and I'm 10 minutes from the airport, and that's where he is. And so, in fact, where his shop is where I first got one of my first jobs when I was 16 at United Dairy Farmers, right across the street from there. And so, when we're talking about doing this in person versus online, the first thing we got to do is either which way, we got to be good on the telephone, right? Whether you're going to do it in person or online, you got to set expectations. You got to talk and grow your business, right? And so one of the things that, as we talk about this, another one of his competitors is DJ, my best friend. We all talk. Everybody kind of talks. It's kind of a small community around here of the pressure washers know each other. And so DJ is my best friend, and he has his dad answering his phone. And so when DJ talks on the phone, his dad has a higher close rate, a little bit, not a whole lot, but usually can get a little bit more out of them for the pressure washing side. And so DJ's average phone calls are about 5 minutes, and his dad's are about 10 minutes. And so as you sit there and listen, and so one thing that I always say is I had a female on my phone, right? Because the female can build that bond and have the talk, and they're not talking about chemicals, and they're not talking about chemicals, and they're not talking about equipment and all the stupid stuff that us guys like to talk about, right? Us guys like to talk about that, and that's not what the female is going to talk more on, how to build that relationship. And so if you've ever talked to Benjamin or ever, I've heard him say it 3 or 4 times, is he's very good at building relationships on that one-on-one, right? When he goes to a customer, they feel like he's their best friend. That's the type of kind that Benjamin is. He just builds that momentum and he builds that relationship, and it's like they're their best friends. And so that's how he's able to grow his business. And so that is one way of doing it. Now, for the online, you got to be able to do that on the phone call, right? And a lot of times when Benjamin's on there, his wife answers the phone, and so she takes down all the information, and then he does the quoting. And so that's a way that they've worked that out, so he's not on the phone all the time trying to do this stuff. And so after we get on the phone call, some things, that's why Kristen answers the phone. See, I told you before he even said it, because I know how his business is, right? And so that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand of why you want to do this and how you're able to do this. And so as you do this, and as you try to find out what it is for the business, how do I do it online? What do I need to say? What do I need to get? What information is pertinent? And so when you're on the phone script, first off, say who you are and what your company name is. Because a lot of times I hear phone calls and they're like, hello? And the other customer's like, hello? Do you do pressure washing? Versus, hello, this is Jason with pressure washing business, right? So that way how may I assist you today, right? So that way they can start talking and they're going to give you the information that you need. And then, so as you go through there and as you get there, awesome, yes, absolutely, we can help you with this, and then so you can say, all right, we use a special system. You can call it a special system. It's Google. That we are able to look at your house, and by looking at your house online, we'll be able to see how much your quote is, and we'll get you a quote out quickly. Now, here's the difference between going in person versus online. This is a now, today, I want it now, right? I'm thinking about it now. I want it now. I'm calling you now. I want it now. So if I can get this quote out within 20 to 30 minutes, the likelihood of me closing that is going to be very high, right? Now, I'm going to give you 2 different instances here of whether you give the quote online or send them an email, or do you give them a price just out loud? And I'm going to give you the pros and cons of both, right? So the pros and cons. 1, do I give the price on the phone? I did not give the price on the phone. I went through my process and I got all their information, and I went and I would always tell them, I will get you a quote out within the next 30 to 45 minutes. Because what I would do is I go do the research and I'm going to give them a price. So the people that want to just give a price can look up their house real quick on their phone and be like, 3707 Turnberry Drive, Alabama. All right, this is a 4,700 square foot house. All right, we're going to be at, times that by 20, 30 cents a square foot. That's where we're going to be at. Excuse me. So that's where we're going to be at. And so now we can look at that and do that. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Share screen. So this is the address that they gave me, the 3707 Turnberry Drive, Gulf Shores, Alabama. So what I always did is, there's 2 ways you can do this. One way is I go down here to Zillow. I make sure I got the right address, 3707, and this is a 4,700 square foot house, 4,752 living space square foot house. So I can take that, and a lot of times I'll usually go down here and check just to make sure that the next one is saying the same thing. So that way I've got two different things saying I don't, if this one's saying 3,000 square foot and this one's saying 4,700 square foot, I need to go do a little investigation to see why is one showing higher than the other. So once I get the address, there's two ways. Normally what I would do here is this 4,700 square foot, I would go into ResponsiBid and I would put that into ResponsiBid, and that's going to give me a whole thing. So if you want to check out ResponsiBid, I was hoping I could actually show you how it works, but I'm not able to do it right now. You can go here, if you didn't know, on King of Pressure Wash. This is my thing. It's going to show you, come in here like King of Pressure Wash. You can go over here to the top at Resources, and under Resources, I have all kinds of cool little tools and tips and tricks and books and all kinds of stuff. And in there, you can go to ResponsiBid, and you will help me out by doing that. And so what you're going to do is you would go in ResponsiBid, and I would type in 3,700 square or 4,700 square feet, and that is where I would be at for a house wash. And so the other thing you can do too is to see I would always go look and see what my house looks like, right? I want to see, you're telling me so now I know it's a metal roof. I know it's a metal roof. It's got some funky doors here that I probably need to be careful on. So I'm not going to go on the cheap side. I've got wood here, so I know that this could be screwed up very easily. Is doing some updates today. Okay, I was wondering why it didn't. I tried to log on and it would give me a 502. And so you can see that in this house here, there is some issues that could become problems, right? This wood up through here could be some problem. This wood right here could be some problems. These wood doors. So this is one that's one of those tricky ones that if you're not careful, you could screw up a lot of stuff, and that could be a problem. If I was guessing, if I was a betting man, I would bet that this roof underneath here is full of there. The other thing that I'm going to look at, I don't know, but is this Galvalume, right? If this is Galvalume and I get house wash mix on it, I'm going to be hurting. And so I can't tell from this picture very well, and that don't help me out either. So this one here, but you can see that it's a big house. Like this is bigger. This might be bigger than 4,700 square feet. I don't know. But this is a big house with, this is a drive-through that gets you into the back side of this here. This must be a guy on a fixed income. Fixed real nice. So it's got a pool cage here. So they got an in-ground pool, and they got a bunch of concrete. And so again, it's a painted metal, not Galvalume. Okay, good. So that's one thing I don't have to worry about for this house here. So there's another way that you can measure this. So the 4,700 square feet, that is the area of the living space. That's not the actual size of the house. If you want the actual size of the house, you got to do a little bit different here. And this house is not going to be the easiest to do this on. But you can come in here and you can click here and you can do measure distance, and you can bring it here. And this is the size of the house. I don't know what goes here. I'm going to go here. We're going to go here, go here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure all the way around this house. I'm going to go a little bit long, come here, come here, come here. And what I'm doing is I'm just getting a rough measurement, because this house is not an easy one to do. But that's all right. We like the hard ones too. And then we're going to come back to here. And so the total square foot total distance, total area. This one is saying 7,500. Now, I know I'm off a little bit because I've done, but I might not be because this not counting this little doodad over here, and it's not counting this garage, and any other non-living spaces are not counted in that 4,700 square feet. So let me go with an easier house that let me see who else gave me an address here, so that way I can see what that house is, see if it's not a giant monster house. So there we go. We're going to go here, and we're going to go 1902 South Fletcher Avenue, 32034. And yes, I like to use the another house that's going to be a fun one. So you all like these little square. This one's 3,000 square feet, but it's a 3-story house. So it's probably going to measure. So we got 3 floors here. So you got 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floors. And so if we can scroll up here, we'll jump on top of the roof view here. Hopefully it's this one. Yeah, 1902. And so basically we're going to do the same thing that we just did. If I can get down here. It's again another little house. Another person on a fixed income. I didn't want to do that. Here, I'm going to do 1903 because it's going to be a little bit easier for me to measure to show you. So basically, you're going to go here again, click on there. You're going to do measure distance. You're going to go around this thing. Bam, bam. And so the square foot of this house is 1,600 square feet. 1,600 square feet. Shoot. Let me zoom out here a little bit so you can see my 1,600 square feet right here. So that is where you're going to be at of how many square foot that house is. Now, this was the house he gave me, so we'll do, we'll cancel that, and then we'll do measure distance again, and we'll see how close we get to this 3-story house. I'm on the struggle bus today, so bear with me. So we'll just go here, here, and here. So this one is measuring 1,600 square feet, but you also got to remember that this is 3 stories, right? Basement, which may or may not have nothing to, so 3,000 square feet. So if we doubled the footprint by 2, so that would be 3,200 square feet. Closets doesn't count as living square feet. Basements doesn't count as living square feet. Garages don't count as living square feet. Pantries, any of that kind of stuff doesn't get included in this right here of that 3,000 square feet. If I can go back into where I want to go at here. So right here where this says 3,000 square feet, that doesn't count all of that stuff. So that's why if you're going, I just went off of this here, 3,000 square feet, and I times this by 25 cents, 30 cents a square foot, and that's how I come up with with the price of that. So if this is a 3,000 square feet, we can take 3,000 times, I don't know, my stupid keyboard don't always work, and it aggravates me. There we go. Times 0.20 equals, so we're at $600. Or if we do this times, I like to be at 25 to 30 cents. I know a lot of people don't, but we're at $900, right? So now, am I just going to send a $900 quote And the answer is no. I am not just going to send a $900 quote. If I send a $900 quote, all I'm going to get out of that house is a $900 quote, right? And so that is what we are going to do and do this. If it's brick, I don't care. I'm still going to charge the same. The only time I'm going to, unless I look at it and the brick is really bad and I know I'm going to have to hit it with a hot mix, then I will bring my pricing up a little bit more. But if it's stucco, I'm definitely going to be in that 30 cents to 35 cents per square foot, because I got to spray a hotter mix. There's a better chance that I'm going to kill something. So I got to make sure I got to do a lot of extra watering. And so that's why I am going to charge more if it's a stucco house, a drive-in house, or a really dirty brick house. If it's not a really dirty brick house, I'm not going to charge the extra. I'm probably just going to charge my 25 to 30 cents per square foot and go from there, and do that. Also with concrete, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure that out with my Google Maps there, and I'm going to see how much square footage is. I'm going to times that by 30 cents. If I'm going to try to upsell driveway sealer, I'm going to charge $1 plus my 30 cents to clean it. So now I'm at $1.30 to clean and seal this. And so I'm going to give them packages, right? If someone just calls me and asks me for a house wash, I'm not just going to send them a house wash package. Now, this is one thing that you can do in person that you can't do online. I can't walk around this house and say, you could use a roof clean. I see gutters coming out. I can't. That's one thing that I can't do. So when I do it in person, I keep it to about 3 things that I can do, maybe 4. One is I am going to give them the house wash. Next, I'm going to give them an exterior window cleaning. And then the third is I'm going to give them a driveway cleaning. I'm going to give them because them are 3 simple things that I can look up. I can kind of go off the square footage of it, and I can about guarantee you what it is every time. So on that house there, I would do a $900 house wash bid. On that 3,000 square foot house, I'd do a $900 house wash bid. I would do a 10 cents a square foot for exterior window cleaning is a good place to really be at. So that would be $300 for exterior window cleaning. And then I would just do a flat fee of $300 to $400 for a driveway cleaning, as long as it's a standard driveway. Now, if it's a big, long driveway, I'm going to probably sit there and schedule it out how I wanted to do it. So I went from a $900 house wash to a $1,200 plus up to a $1,500 all-inclusive for a 3,000 square foot house. That would literally probably take me about 2 hours to 2.5 hours to do this. And so this is how we're able to get our bids up high and be able to do this. And some people want, so the pros of doing this online is I can get them a quote quickly, and that is very important. People are in the now, and they want their quotes now. They don't want to wait till tomorrow till you come or the next day. They want that done now. And then if you're booked out 2 or 3 weeks, you can say, hey, you know what? We're booked out 2 or 3 weeks. And if you want to get on the schedule, we have this date. And this is definitely something that you want to do so you're able to get on the schedule and hold your spot, right? So package deals are definitely a way so that you can upsell your services, and how you can upsell your services is through packages. Packages is definitely something that you should be doing. If you're not, you're losing a lot of money on the table. And so that is a way that you can do that. So, large driveway dirty. So you all give me all kind of addresses. So now you're making me work, but that's all right, because if it helps you understand, I'm going to do this building, because a lot of times people don't understand buildings, and I'm kind of glad you gave me a building. So what do we do when it gets harder or rough? How do we handle those? And so obviously a lot of times on buildings, I do want to go in person, but on the other hand, I also want to be able to south, University, Little Rock, Arkansas. Is that it right there? South University in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I'm kind of glad you showed me the building, because even if a lot of times I am going to go in person to be able to bid this, because anytime I'm over a $2,000-$3,000 quote, I want to go in person to see, and I can do some demos and I can do some different things to see what all I have. But I still like to go online so that I can do some things that I can't really do in person, that I can do some measuring a little bit easier. And so the first thing I always like to do is can I, if I need a lift, right? So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories up. Can I shoot 6 stories? Usually you want to go about 10 foot is probably a little less. So usually I always go about 12 to 15 feet per story. But a lot of times I'm just going to keep it easy math. I'm going to do 10. So that I'm going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm going to say this is probably about 70 feet tall. So I can't shoot up that high, so I'm going to need a lift. So anytime I need a lift, I need to figure out, what do I need for a lift to be able to get up there? Can I get a lift in through this here, right? Can I get up on here? Am I going to have to shoot from out here? So how tall of a lift if I get one? Now, if I'm at 70 feet tall up here, I don't want a 70-foot lift. I want a 90-foot lift, because that's going to allow me to go side to side a lot further and not have to keep moving this lift every little bit. I can sit here, I can park the lift here, and I can get around here and come halfway here. So I can get a lot more done with a little bit longer lift than not. Because the other thing is too, is if I get a lift, I don't need to come all the way to the top. I can come here and shoot all the way up to the top, and so a 90-foot lift is going to get me pretty far that way and pretty far here. I could probably park right here and go from here to there, all without moving the lift. And the less I have to move the lift, the better off you are, because the more you have to move the lift, especially when you get into this grass and you got to work around these stupid trees, right? And so I'm going to sit there and I'm going to kind of pick this apart of what do I need to do and how do I need to do I have any, like these overhangs? How far is this overhang? So if I need to get up here, I need to see, can I get up here from here? Can I park the lift to get around there? Or am I going to have to park out here? So that's another reason why you might need a longer lift. So that is something that you have to look at, of what you're looking at for these lifts. And so these walls are pretty dirty, but they will come up and they will come clean, no problem. They should come clean, no problem. There's nothing special about it. And then I always like to kind of look at it this way, because this kind of gives you a way of, where do I need to, how big is this building? And so how tall is this? Can I sell them a roof clean? Can I get a lift down in here? Can I get down in through here? So those are some things that I may or may not be able to see. I can turn the little thing here on the side and get different angles of this building, of seeing of what I may need to be able to do to be able to get this building cleaned. So the other thing I like to do too is go around the parking lot or go around the streets that I can in driving method. Now see, this one don't have very good driving method because it's wanting me to keep going here. So I'm going to have to, it won't let me go this way. Yeah, it will. So I'm going to go all the way this way, but then it's taking me out. So can I get a lift here? Can I get a lift there? Can we clean these windows, right? That's going to be another issue. Now, with commercial windows, they can be a pain in the butt if we got these commercial windows. So that way you got to think about, am I going to have to get up on this roof to be able to clean these windows, or am I going to have to get up really close? So that's what you got to do to be able to get these windows, able to get them cleaned, and be able to look at that, right? These are things that you got to look at to see where do I need to go and what do I need to look at? You know, do I got to clean this way up here? And if I do, what do I got to be able to get up there? So you got to look at your thing. Another thing is setting expectations, right? Do we have oxidation? Is this oxidation right here? This is going to be a different color when you're done cleaning it. This is going to be a different color when you're cleaning it. And so it's important that as we look at these buildings, so it's going to have white strips coming down here that we're not going to be able to, so we need to make sure that we set the expectations. Now, can we make all of this the same color? Probably, but that's going to be a whole nother process, right? That's going to be spraying acid up there versus just cleaning it with bleach and moving on. The other thing you got to look at too is what's my vegetation around here? How much am I going to have to water all this stuff so I don't kill all this stuff? Because if I kill all this stuff, then guess what? This doesn't do me no good of killing all this stuff if I'm not careful. So I got to be careful of what vegetation do I have around here. Is it possible getting into somewhere else? So I got to look at all the little things, all these bushes. I'm going to have to spray something. This is a college. When am I going to be able to do it? Obviously, I don't want to do it while class is going on because otherwise I'm going to have other issues if I got these things going around here with the there. And again, can I get a lift up in here? Can I get a lift there? Right? And so can I spray this here? Can I get a lift down through here and get it, where I got to overcome that height difference? So those are some things that you got to think about as we're doing commercial of what we may need to look at and what we may need to do so we can be profitable, right? And so I know Benjamin's on here, and I used to charge $2,000 a day. He charged $3,000 a day, or more, because he's charging $3,000 plus bleach and everything. And so, like the church we went to, I think he was at like $50,000, and it ended up taking like a week and a half, and to be able to get to that. And so these are things that you're able to do with commercial. Now, the things with commercial bidding, I would go in person most of the time and go talk to these people if you can. If not, you can sit here and look at this, and I can quote this whole building. I can come here, I can get a little bit higher here, and I can spin myself again. And so what I could do is I can sit here and I can click on that, measure distance, click around there, and I can get a rough guesstimate of how big that building square footage is. But the biggest thing about this is I don't really bid off square foot when I'm coming around this. I bid off of how long do I think it's going to take me, right? And I would say a building like this, and you got people, you probably could get it done in about 3 to 4 days if you got good equipment. That's not counting the window cleaning, because the window cleaning is probably going to take you just as long as to clean the building as it does to do the window cleaning. Window cleaning can take some time if you're not careful. So be careful on your window cleaning. Don't be at like $1,500 for this building, because you're going to lose your tail on the window cleaning. And then you're going to have to pay for the lift. How much is the lift going to cost you? You're probably going to be cheaper to rent this lift for the week than you are for 3 or 4 days, because they give you better deals when you're dealing with that. So those are some things to look at as we are bidding online for big commercial buildings. I bid a bunch of commercial buildings by doing it online, because I can look at the whole picture versus just looking at walking around the building with this person I'm trying to see what I need to do and how to do it. I can see the obstacles a lot better than I can the other way. Great information. You're correct on the lift side. I made that mistake twice. Yeah, you always want a way bigger lift than just the height of the building. You want to be able to get left and right a lot further to be able to do that. How do you do fences and decks online? Same way. I sit there and I measure them out. And decks, I charge a lot. $1.50 to $2 a square foot to clean them stupid things because it's going to take you way longer than I think it's going to do. If you don't ask for the upsell, you will not get it. That is 100%. Always wear a harness with a lanyard. This is very good information. The last thing you want to do is fall out of a basket, and it will happen. Or you don't want to get fined by OSHA either. So that's another way. No way would I quote that without an in-person. The big thing about in-person is you want to be able to you want to be able to sit there and look at make sure that you got water. If I got to get a fire hydrant, where's my hydrant at? All of that kind of stuff. So those are things that you've got to look at before you go bidding it, because you might be getting water a long ways away, or and go test it. Make sure that you're testing the water too. Don't just sit there and not test the water. Always keep your lift level. That's a good thing to do too. Another thing to do is if you're getting into the grass or you're on sidewalks, make sure that you put the boards down so you don't sink or get into a hole or any of that kind of stuff. How do you calculate bleach usage on a job like that? Crap ton is what you do. It's hard. So a lot of times once you start doing these bigger jobs, you know about how much bleach you're going to burn through a day. And so you kind of go from there of what you know. I mean, that job there, you're probably using 400 or 500 gallons. 400 or 500 gallons is probably where you're going to be at. How much per hour would you charge for that building? So I would charge for $3,000 a day is where I would be at. And you can go a little bit more than that. So like the one building that me and DJ did that took us one day to do, he didn't go off of my recommendation of bidding it by the hour. He did, or by the day. He actually did it by the square foot, and I think he did it at like 14, 15 cents a square foot, and it came out to 10 grand. And so if he was by himself, he probably would have took 2 days. But where I was there with him, we were able to get it done in 10 hours, 10 hours. Benjamin Gregory, you do these daily. Yes, he does. The acid will kill a lot. Yes, it will. Jason had Brett Fulgott had a good question. Oh yeah, I answered that one. Michael, not quite daily, but often. How do you calculate bill? Yes, I answered that question. My customers are hesitant when I send them a contract. Does ResponsiBid hide the contract? It doesn't hide the contract. It's got it down in the small print. It's like, hey, this is the print of whatever it is. I got a Rite Aid in my area that has copper flashing. How do I clean it without screwing up the copper? Very, very carefully. That is something that bleach and copper do not go very well with. It'll turn it black or it'll eat a hole in it. It can do either or. I had one of my guys in my mentorship. He called me this year and he's like, I've got bleach on these. I had these, it was these big giant screens on this big giant house. And he's like, some of the screens started turning green or black because they were actually green and they turned black. And so I learned a lot about the process of how copper goes from the different stages of it. And so I actually called Benjamin and like, what do we need to do? He gave me suggestions and it didn't work either. So it was kind of, you got to be careful with it, because so the other thing is so like if you use an acid, it'll turn it the other way. It'll make it real shiny or one way, I forget. But you got to be careful when dealing with copper gutters. Water the crap out of them is the one way you can do it, is water, water, water. Keep water on them. That can help, so that way it's not there. Gum removal time consuming on some of these. Yeah, so when you are bidding these big jobs, like that big university, you also want to give them the quote for concrete. If it's got a lot of gum, that's one that if you don't go and see and it's got a lot of gum and you don't set that expectation that you're not removing that gum, then you're going to be stuck there a long time popping gum. Gum can take a while. Insurance purposes for the landlord, workers' comp won't cover you if workers' comps are tied in. And so a lot of times, one of the things you got to do with these big jobs too is you have to get workers' comp. And even if you're an employee, even if you're the only person, you have to get a ghost policy to get workers' comp, even on stuff like this. So that's definitely a thing. Make sure your insurance company covers this stuff, that you're working on this. And so a lot of times these people will want a $2 to $3 million plan for you to go bid on this stuff. So you got, there's a lot of steps that come to with commercial that come along that you have to look at. Yeah, and make sure your pics are OSHA compliant. If you going to post them, insurance and OSHA does look at them. So if you're in if you're on a lift, you should be tied off. You should be wearing a high vis vest, and you should be wearing a helmet. And the people down below you need to wear the helmet, then the high vis vest. So and you're supposed to have a two-way like a walkie-talkie also. So that's another thing that you're supposed to have. Gotcha. Thank you. When sending a quote, do you show each separate for the upsells or everything in one price? So normally how I'll do it is the house wash is package A. It's $900. Package B is a house wash and the window cleaning, and we're at $1,200. Package C is the house wash, the window cleaning, and the driveway cleaning. It's $1,500. So their prices are $900, $1,200, or $1,500. That's how I'm going to give them their prices. How much can I charge customers for sealing concrete after I clean it? We do $1 a square foot, and we're getting it. So, and it's pretty good. Now, if you're doing some of the specialty stuff of stamped concrete, I would probably go up a little bit more. And if you're doing paver sealing, I'm going to be at $2 a square foot. Does anyone know what paid backlinks are? The company that does my website is trying to sell me worth it. You got to be careful with that. Because if they're not good backlinks, then that can be bad. I would rather you go to the Chamber of Commerce and pay to be part of it and get a good backlink from the Chamber of Commerce. A backlink is anything that's on your website that links to somewhere else, or someone's linking to you. So for instance, I'll just show you here. For instance, on my website right here, all of these links are links to other companies, right? So this is considered a backlink to Jill's office because I'm taking them off of my website and taking them to their website. And so that is considered a backlink. Now, the problem that you got to be careful with is if it's a crappy backlink, Google knows that, and that's going to get you. So you want good backlinks. You want people from good websites that are linking to you. So them are some things to look at. And so that is what you have to be able to see. Like my website is actually ranking pretty well. And so if these here are actually really good links to those people because my website is really good and it's starting to rank better and better. And so the more my ranks, all of these start doing better also. But that's a great question, Brett. I wouldn't touch copper. Yeah, I would. I did I've only done about 4 sets of copper gutters, and I was scared to death on every one of them. Does downstream use 4 gallon of SH a minute or just the water? Just the water. Got my first job coming up. Want to know how much SH I will use on a small driveway. You would use very little. If you sprayed the driveway because it's only going to get 10 to 1. So every 10 gallons of water is 1 gallon of bleach. And that's you spraying the whole time, basically. Does downstream use... No, I already answered that question. 2-car concrete cleaning, I charge $250 to $300 depending on how dirty it is. I would just charge $300 no matter what it is. And I need some more likes. That's second down like. I don't know what these yahoos... We always got yahoos, right? You gotta love the haters. Not tied in. My bad. Until you fall off. On big jobs, remember the question, how do you eat an elephant? And this is a good point. I'm glad Michael brought this up, because a lot of times people are scared to death of these big jobs. I just had one of my guys call me from my mentorship. He actually was just driving by, called the leasing whenever he seen the leasing number for lease, and he just asked, hey, who do I need to talk to about cleaning your building? And he's like, me. And so he's got a bid on this big job because he called the number on the leasing sign. So, that's ways that you're able to get this information to be able to get these big jobs. This is the only thing I got going full throttle. Is there any special precautions I need to do when cleaning aluminum siding? No, I just don't guarantee that it's going to be clean, because aluminum siding is about a 75% chance that it will come 100% clean. Caught the tail end of this. Sup, Mr. Pressure Washing. Thanks for the explanation. One bite at a time. That's how you eat an elephant. That is so true. Hey, for all the new guys, you must have minimum setup and stand by it. Yep. So, I am going to have some in-person training coming up in Oregon. Yes, in Portland, Oregon. I'm going to be there in April. I do have some other classes, but I don't have them lined up 100%. That's the only one that I have, for sure. My one in Dallas, Tristan is in here. If he's in here, he's supposed to be in here. He was supposed to help me get that set up, but I don't know if that's got done yet. You can go to kpwtrain.com and it'll give you all the in-person dates that I have. Also, you can go to check out King of Pressure Wash. Here's where I have all my membership. If you want to join the membership, you get all kinds of cool stuff. One, you get all the training that I have in a library that is huge, has probably 200-300 videos in it, how to do sales, how to set up your rig, all of that kind of stuff. And then the other thing I do, every Monday night, we do a Zoom call. That's a place that you can come in, ask any questions, and the month of February, I am going to be talking on how to get commercial jobs, how to get leads, how to get commercial jobs, and so that's what I will be doing. The month of January, which you can go back and watch all those, I talked about AI and how you can use AI in your business. The other thing too, if you're a member of King of Pressure Wash, you get a free website. So it is a website that you can have also by signing up. When running Facebook ads for Christmas sites, do you narrow down your audience? Not always. Because Facebook has kind of gotten stupid. What salary did you give yourself when you made 7 figures in your business? I didn't make much more than when I was making by myself. I'll just be honest with you. It's just more headaches. You're just not doing all the work. Can you have a release of liability on work orders for plant life? If you killed something, you're paying for it. That's how that works. I mean, you can have all the liability saying, if I kill this bush, I'm not paying for it. Well, good luck on that, because it's not going to be good for you. Get the likes up. I agree. Thank you, Jamie. Are you planning to start offering downloadable contracts and letters to templates? Here's my thing on these contracts. I know there's gurus out there that are like, you got to buy my contract. Your contract is about as good as what that piece of paper is on. If you kill fish, I don't care what kind of contract, you got to pay for it, right? If you don't ask for that credit card up front, you're going to be fighting to get paid sometimes. You may have to put liens on houses and all kinds of stupid stuff. Just because they sign a contract doesn't mean a hill of beans most of the time. So just remember that. But I am going to start giving a pack of stuff from AI that you'll be able to use and put in information, and it will give you different things out like social media posts and how to bid stuff. Who's the best online store for purchasing new pressure washing equipment and parts? So I would tell you to use someone local if you have one and if they are good. If you're in Cincinnati, there is nobody local that I would use. The Cincinnati store sucks. Now, I go down to Louisville and I use Southside Equipment. Southside Equipment, Russ is an OG from way back when, and he is grumpy, but he knows his stuff, and if you ever have any issues, he will help you figure that out. I would also used Power Wash Store or powerwash.com. I used Bob, I can't think of what Bob's name. PT Pressure Washing Supplies is one. I've used Amazon, because the thing about Amazon is if I don't like it, I can send it back and I don't have to ask no questions. I just put it in the box and it goes back. So I do use a lot from Amazon. And from Amazon, for like all your plumbing stuff, you can get the exact thing what you need. Obviously, do your best not to hurt plants. Yeah, because you're going to pay for them if not. And here's the thing too. If you don't have the correct insurance, a lot of, like if you have Joseph Walters, and you kill plants, you're probably going to be screwed, because they're probably not going to cover them. So you have to watch that. When the money starts pouring in, it don't want most important family and health. I've paid for a few bushes already. It happens. It does, unfortunately. And the key to not paying for them is water. Water. Will a contract protect you against bad window seals and bad outlets? Who's to say they're bad? That's the question. If you didn't, this goes back to, if you didn't document it before it happened, you did it. So if you didn't take pictures of it beforehand, you did it. So it doesn't matter if you got it written on a contract. If you didn't take a picture of it, you did it. So if I took a picture of it and they tell me that they have a bad outlet or a bad there, then I can tell them that. Now, if I tell them to turn the electric off in my thing and they didn't, and then I got maybe something there at that point. If you mess it up, fix it. Yes. Russ loves Jason. He probably does, because I'm probably the only one left that tells the people to go to use him. He used to be on all the groups all the time. My local guys are overpriced. Amazon for the win. Yep. Isn't a contract a legal binding document? It's as good as it is on that paper. In Lexington, Kentucky area, look up Jamie Vano for pressure washing supplies. Really? He's a new guy then. But I liked Russ. Russ helped me a whole lot. You can use this guy. He sells stuff too. Use YouTube unlisted or private video options to document jobs. Free storage, and after a year is up, you can delete them and put the video title as the property address. There you go. Perfect. I like to use Company Cam. Company Cam, it's actually on my resource. It is $20 a month, $240 a year. But if you don't screw up one bush and you have to go replace that bush because you didn't take the picture, the reason why I like Company Cam is it actually documents the time of when you there. So like in my 26 steps to the perfect house wash, it's take a picture of the truck where it's parked at, right? So if I'm parked out on the street and they call and tell me, well, you parked in the driveway and you left oil. Nope, right here where's my truck was parked out here. And that sets that time stamp there. And then when I take a picture of all my go around, I've got time stamps on the bottom of the picture of when I took that picture. And so that way, when I'm done with it and I go through again and take another picture, I can see that they can see that that's when it was. Company cam, for me, it's worth it. Like I say, it's like $20 a month. You can use it for bidding. You can use it for quoting. You can use it for coverage. You can use it for marketing. But company cam is definitely something that I would look at. Thanks for it, brother. Jason Guy, can't wait to see you at the Huge again, brother. Yep. So, thumbs up and hit the like button. I agree. Thank you, Chris. Well, I actually went over tonight, but I hope you all learned something and take action, because no matter what you do, you got to take action, right? If you get these big jobs and you start worrying to death about them, just take action. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And when you do these big jobs, you will get more big jobs. You'll become like Benjamin Gregory and doing $1 million and doing 750,000 of it in commercial, right? And you will learn as you go. Don't think that you're going to know everything. There's not one person in here knows everything. I promise you, you will not know everything. Michael Lowe here, been in the business for years. He don't know everything. I don't know everything. There's things that are changed. There's things that you can do to learn, and that is definitely something that you need to do. And yes, I am coming down to Florida, so I will be at Florida. I would say the night before I would hang out, but I'm actually flying from San Diego, which is 3 hours, and I'm not getting in on Wednesday night till like 9 o'clock or midnight. And so I will be there Thursday and Friday, and I'm leaving out Friday at like 5. So I will be leaving out pretty early. But yes, I will be in Orlando. Yes, these are also some good people to buy from too. Panhandle, Trudy Weckman from Panhandle, and Lori Smith. I don't know what the name of her business is. Company Cam is the cheapest insurance you'll ever need, and I would agree with that 100%. I've been in the chats, but I've watched hours of your videos before I started, and I learned a lot to thanks you, and I'm still learning. And again, you will always learn. Never stop learning. You know, I'm still learning, right? I'm reading books. I know that's crazy, but you got to, man. You never know enough. That's the reason why I'm pushing the book about your enemies. Well, I can't think of the name of it, but it's definitely something you can do to make sure. It is amazing how much you can learn from oops. Yeah. And you know what? The best way to learn is by doing and by failing. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn, the faster you are able to keep going. Yes, that's it. Choose your enemies wisely. So hope you all have an awesome night, and we'll see you all later.